Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to the latest retail release from Dragon Ball Z Super Saiyan Son... I don't know why I was going to say Son Goku there. Anyway, Son Gohan, the fighter who surpassed Goku. That's right, Goku, you can teleport on out. Because you no longer need it, because Gohan is on the scene and ready to kick some ass. I guess after he sees his friends beaten to a pulp and Android, decapitated, stepped on, blown up and all that, then he's ready to surpass Goku. But damn, that was so badass back in the day. Oh man, just thinking about him when he goes into Super Saiyan 2, it feels like, oh. But unfortunately, no Super Saiyan 2 hit for this release. Because, this is when he's, rocks up to the Cell games, all clean, his finely pressed cape. Cloth cape, that is. That's right. This beauty does have a cloth cape, which is awesome, and we'll take a look at that soon. So yeah, without further ado, and enough of my rambling, let's check out the box. Very standard, nice selection of images showcasing what it comes with. Your standard affair. So yeah, let's pop them out and check out what it does come with. So Gohan in the center there, with that base kind of droopy standard style hair that he has, and then an additional hair, windswept, not Super Saiyan 2, and that's something we'll cover probably in the pros and cons, but I'm definitely digging the fact that we've got windswept hair with this release. Then yeah, you've got that kind of neutral look, teeth gritting, kind of shot subtly battle damaged head, and then with a bit more of a neutral, is that smiling actually? No, not quite, kind of a subtle frown look there as well, which is cool. And then we get, was it 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of hands once we're doing his Masenkapo attack, I think it is. Once we're doing Kamehameha, finger spread and so forth, which is great. And the icing on the cake, the part that everyone is hyped about, that's right, the cloth cloak, cape, mantle, whatever you want to call it. It is cool, and we'll get a closer look at that soon, but spoiler alert, it is pretty damn good, and it's got a wire. You can pose it. So yeah, really cool. But yeah, for now, let's pop Gohan out and take a closer look at the finish. So as Gohan swings around, lovely purple colour, some deeper shades on there as well, so it is nice to have some weathering. Base brown colour for the boots, the skin tone is looking really good, the blue for the belt and wrist bands are looking nice, and then he has it really soft pastel yellow hair for the Super Saiyan here. Now, obviously in the Cell games, when they come out of the training room, they've maintained their Super Saiyan look, so it does have that more softer look to it, opposed to the real vibrant, full of energy, yellow or orangey colours that we get. The what was it, Goku and the Namek Saga, and then the characters later on. So a bit more of a unique design, which is really cool. But I really want to see a more vibrant hair for this figure. Hopefully, maybe a battle damage re-release type of a deal later on. But yeah, overall the finish on this thing is looking great. And yeah, here we go. This is the cape, or mantle, or cloak, or whatever you want to call it. But the top part here, nice folds. This is a softer rubber, so we'll flex a little bit, and then the cloth part is attached underneath. So we'll move a little bit, it will flex in and around, which is great. Easy to put on Gohan, just pop his head on, slot it down, and away you go. Now we have a wire that runs all the way down the side, bottom and top, so you can bend, flex, pose it as you see fit. You can have it there, fluffing up off Gohan. Yeah, so really simple, and it looks really nice. I was worried that the the stitching may come through, but you can't really see the stitching at all. The wire does, it is a little bit more noticeable depending on the angle or the lighting that you use, but for the most part, once it's on him, it looks really good, and yeah, pretty easy to use, especially with that wire, really nice and flexible. And I like the mix between the foamed plastic or molded part on top with the cloth cape. That way we get to maintain the nice design on top without looking, I guess, weird or too bulky or anything like that. So really cool to see. So we'll get a close look of this cloak on Gohan a little bit later. But for now, let's switch over and check out the articulation on this little wee beast. Now the head, oh, check it out, how fluid, how much motion you get both on the neck peg and the neck itself. Great range looking down, great range looking up, left, right, any angle you want, really nice and easy to achieve and feels super fluid. And now for the shoulders as well, really great range there. We get the butterfly joint as well, which, let me swivel this up and around and over. It can cross over really well. Going back, let me swivel it around a little bit, it's nice. We get the butterfly joint there, which is great. We have the usual upper bicep swivel there as well. The elbow joint, check that out, extremely good. And then we get the usual wrist peg action going on as well, which will move up and down that peg. Which way is it facing? And there we go, okay, there we go. So down and up there, which is really cool. So this is where this figure gets really interesting. Look at this, it might be a little bit hard to see, but his lower torso, that's actually soft rubber. The belt is soft, everything will flex and move. So going back, it will open up a little bit, but everything will flex and move and bend in on itself. And same with going forward, really good. They will use the hips there to help, but definitely I think this is a step in the right direction for using soft goods. Whereas before on the Beast Gohan we had on the top part, it did hinder articulation a bit, but for this one it is on the lower part that really helps with articulation. Even has the, the back area is soft as well, everything will bend and flex. Really interesting design, and you can see there as well when you lift the leg up, even though the leg might hit there, whereas before it would stop and it would hinder it. Now you can push forward and past it and it will just bend and flex out of the way. Same for going back, the tush there will kind of stop it a little bit, but not too bad. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I'm curious to see how this will go in the future. One thing to point out, when you do want to bend the legs out, just make sure it tucks in underneath the soft rubber, otherwise it will stop the articulation. But once you have it there, check it out, full on splits, super flexible and easy to use. And yeah, it's really, I don't know, this here really surprised me with that new design there. But anyway, coming back to what we do have, we have the usual upper thigh swivel, which is nice, and the knee joint is pretty good. Obviously the flared legs will hinder it a little bit, but nothing too major. We get the ankle swivel and then the foot itself as well, which will move a little bit. We get some roll on there, which is quite good, and then the toe tip as well. So overall the articulation of this figure is really good. You know, it's not quite there compared to the legendary Super Saiyan Goku from, you know, the recent release, but overall I think this is a huge step in the right direction, especially for a tiny body. The smaller bodies, it is hard to get the full articulation of the upper and chest, but yeah, the utilization of the soft rubber definitely has intrigued me. I'm curious to see it used more in the future. Yeah, but the lower leg articulation on this figure is insanely good. Now before we check out all the faceplates, I do want to show you the figure with the mantle on. Super easy, just slot it on over the top, line up the head with a peg, and then just push it on. It is a bit more of a tighter fit compared to the figure without the cloak on. Let me line this up properly, there we go. So once it is on, there we go. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. So once on, you don't get too much motion with the head. You can, you know, move it left and right a little bit. Going forward, it will stop, and same with the back. However, the real beauty of this figure with the cape is, yeah, he's there with the cape, but you can lift it up. You can swivel off to the side, make it flow with the figure however you want, which is really good. And more importantly, it looks really nice, especially when you kind of compare it to the original Gohan release with the cape, with the molded one here. Once you had him on, you could barely move those arms at all, and the articulation was severely limited. But however, with this figure, you can lift the arms up, bring them forward and around, twist them up and over, and the cape won't get in the way. You can just bend and flex it up if it is in your way. And yeah, so really nice and easy to use. You can like wrap the cape around a little bit. I mean, yeah, your imagination is your limit with this, and I want a new Piccolo now. I really want a Piccolo with the same style cape, because that would be really cool to see, because the previous release was cool. Faces, maybe not quite there, so maybe an updated version of just the previous Proud Namekin release, I think it's called, with the only differences, updated faces and a cape, and maybe his special beam cannon effect. That would be amazing to see, and hopefully we'll get one maybe for 2025. Now let's take a close look at those faceplates. Again, crisp and clean. This is the neutral kind of annoyed look that Gohan gets. Again, all the lines above the eyes, just to the side as well, really helps bring forth that emotion. Now to change the faceplate, pretty straightforward, just pop the head off. The faceplate is attached to the bang, so you just want to take both parts off together, and then you can detach the faceplate from the bangs. Next up is that teeth gritting one. Again, pretty cool. Yeah, again, not much else to really say, but besides the fact that it is crisp and clean. Now, will he or won't he go Super Saiyan 2? Is he going to stop Cell? I feel like that's what this face really reminds me of, is when he's watching all the Louis Cell Juniors kick ass against the Z Warriors. The additional, you know, was it the weathering or battle damage scuff marks on his face is pretty cool. Though, since his body doesn't have any, it's a little bit out of place. But it definitely is a fun little bit addition to the figure. And then next up is the open wide faceplate for Gohan. This one's really cool. You know, suits the cloak really well. I think. You know, he's sitting up there next to Piccolo, watching the Cell games unfold before him. So it's definitely nice that we got this one. It matches pretty well with the wide-eyed Goku face as well. So definitely nice to see a new variation for the Dragon Ball faceplates. And then finally the full-on mouth open spoon one with that windswept hair. So really cool to see. I love how they gave windswept hair. I want more. I want one for Goku or Super Saiyan. Windswept hair would be really cool. And I know a lot of people will complain that there's no Super Saiyan 2 with this release, and while it would have been nice, I would like to see an updated version of the battle damage Super Saiyan 2 Gohan that we have, maybe with updated body like this, maybe another cloth cape, you know, maybe a Kamehameha effect, and you know, maybe a windswept Super Saiyan 2 here and so forth. Something like that would be really cool to see as an additional release down the line. So yeah, that covers it for all the faceplates, all really well done and look really nice on this figure. So a very simple pose here just to highlight the awesome articulation in the arms. You can stretch them out straight to do basically the same Kamehameha pose as the legendary Super Saiyan Goku release, which is amazing to see from a tiny little bit body. And then you know, the awesome range and leg articulation really helps as well to kind of bend them around, get them into a really cool looking stance as well. So definitely a lot of fun there with doing both his Kamehameha pose and also his Masenkampo. I always forget the name of that. Masenkampo. Anyway, let me know in the comments below his special attack name, just so hopefully I can try to remember for the future. So while I don't remember the name fully, I do have him set up on the stand here in the basic pose, and yeah, it looks really cool. Definitely nice and fluid, and the additional range and motion for the head definitely makes it easier to try and get the alignment right. Especially if you are trying to do a photo, we still want to be able to see his eyes while doing the signature move. You can move everything down and up and around subtly enough just so you can still see those eyes visibly in the camera while trying to pose for a photo. Now I really gotta say, that cloak looks so cool. You can, you know, get it fluttering in the wind. Maybe he's moving forward, you know, going up. Maybe he's powering up or anything like that. Definitely nice how you can twist and turn and bend it with a wire. Definitely going to have a lot of fun taking photos with this figure. And as I mentioned, I really want Piccolo to go with Gohan. I think it's just a good length where it can drape down, but it won't get quite underneath him, but you can still bring it forward, maybe like the wind's blowing, and like one of those kind of showdowns where it kind of, you know, the wind rushes forward, the cape flutters, and then just as the wind kind of dies down, that's when they spring into action and go start doing some badass fighting. But definitely fun little wee figure here. But anyway, let's set him up, do a bit of a size comparison, then we can jump into some pros and cons. So for the lineup, we've got Full Power Goku, the Super Saiyan 2 Battle Damage Gohan, the original release of this base Super Saiyan Gohan, and then also the new one here. And man, I was actually thinking this figure was going to be a lot bigger than the original Gohan releases, but actually pretty much in line. If anything, he's a little bit shorter than the original release, and it's kind of crazy the difference in quality. I mean, this figure is pretty old and it really is showing its age. The sculpting isn't as fluid, a bit more blocky. I don't know what they were thinking with the lines underneath the eyes, but anyway, we won't go in there. At least this does give us a really good look at the size comparison. And I feel Gohan matches up pretty well with Goku here. And also, while we do have a lineup, you can check out the purple, a lot more of a darker, richer purple here for the new Gohan, whereas the Battle Damage one a lot more softer pastel color, and then even more so with that original release. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below what you think about the coloring for the new one, especially compared to the other two. Personally, I love the shiny, more fluid or vibrant here with the Super Saiyan 2 head, so I hope we get one of those eventually for this release. I could definitely see them doing a battle damage version of this figure with the Super Saiyan 2 here, similar to how they did back in the day. And yeah, I would actually be pretty happy with that. Definitely after playing with this figure is a lot of fun, so an updated version for battle damage would be really cool. Actually, before we jump into the pros and cons, I do have the Kid Gohan release here, who is really cool, and I know a lot of people might be asking, can you fit the cape on this release? And unfortunately, you can, but you can't, not properly, due to the top part for this character's design. It will kind of hinder this, and then with the long bangs, you can't really fit it on. Maybe a little bit better if you have a bowl cut head, but it does look a little bit off due to scaling and size, but you might be able to pull off for certain photos with the help of some blue tack if you are really after that look. But yeah, anyway, coming into the pros and cons for this release now, obviously a huge pro, that cloth cape, mantle, cloak, whatever you want to call it, is done so well, works really good. The mix between plastic and cloth is a fantastic way of handling this style, at least for this character's design, right? It works really well. The colours, the purple, the blue, the browns, I think they look really nice. The colour they went for with the boots is nice. As you probably saw just before in the lineup, it's kind of an in-between of the battle damage version and the original one. So right in the sweet spot I feel with that colouring. The faceplate's all good, crisp, clean. Base here, windswept here. The fact that we can switch the faceplates between all the different, all the two pairs of hair is really good, so versatility, nice selection of hands as well. And then articulation in those soft parts on the figure, definitely a huge pro. The con for them are, it is a little bit harder to articulate at times, not due to range of articulation, but when it's hard, you know where it moves. It will just move in that direction, in that way, right? It's easy when you hold it, it's hard, it doesn't bend or flex. But with this one, since it is soft, it will bend, it will flex, and sometimes that will make it a little bit harder to get it into the right pose, since it may not move how you're expecting to or how you want it, and so forth. So it can be a little bit more finicky. I feel as they probably use this technology more, this way of combining hard and soft materials, it will get better. It's not a huge con or anything like that, but definitely is an observation I have made so far while playing with it. But yeah, the range articulation is really good. Is it the second best Dragon Ball S.H Figuarts to come out? I've been kind of, I feel like the Frieza figures, there's a lot of really good figures out there. But definitely from like the Z Fighters or the human figures, I think this could be maybe the second best one we've had actually. Just due to the fact we get the windswept here, the base here, the cloth, cloak, and the range of articulation as well. But definitely let me know in the comments below what you think about this release. Where does it stack compared to other releases? Is it one of your favorites? Did you pass on it for some reason? I'm curious if anyone did, because I know Gohan is really popular, especially probably more so in the West than here in Japan. Definitely a favorite in the Cell Saga as well. So I feel like everyone must be picking up this figure, especially since it is a retail release. So yeah. But anyway, that is it for the review. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe and all that if you did. And most importantly, let me know in the comments below all your thoughts and opinions on this figure, and who else do you want with a cloth cape. Obviously the main one would be Piccolo, Mr. Satan as well. Definitely a few out there. I mean, you can probably go to Bo. Yeah. Fat Boo, he's a real pain for this one, right? So definitely quite a few characters could use a cloth cape going forward in the future. But yeah, anyway, there's it for the video. So again, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers!